If you're over 60, I want you to pause for a moment and think about this. Every single snack you eat now has more power than it did when you were 20, 30, or even 50. Back then, your body was resilient. It could bounce back from a late-night pizza or a salty snack at the movies. But today, every bite is either strengthening your heart or slowly wearing it down. Now here's the part that surprises most seniors I meet in my clinic. Some of the foods you've always trusted, the ones you've been told are healthy, are quietly damaging your heart. And the worst part? You don't even notice until it's too late. Let me ask you a question. What if the little bowl of nuts sitting on your coffee table, the one you reach for while watching your favorite show, was actually pushing you closer to high blood pressure, clogged arteries, or even a heart attack? What if that innocent handful wasn't harmless at all, but a slow drip of damage happening day after day? I've been a heart doctor for over 30 years. I've opened up arteries. I've held beating hearts in my hands. And I've seen the inside story most people never get to see. And do you know what strikes me most? It's not the fast food that shocks me anymore. It's not the sodas or the chips. No, it's the seniors who come into my office proudly saying, "Doctor, I eat clean. I don't touch fried food. I don't eat sugar." But then we look at their snacks. And that's where the truth hides. The truth is there are 7 kinds of nuts that almost every senior believes are safe. But they're actually fueling inflammation, raising blood pressure, and burdening your heart every single day. And the craziest part? You'll find them everywhere, at parties, in shiny tins at the store, in snack mixes labeled heart healthy. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Nuts are supposed to be good for me, right? And you're right. Nuts in their pure, natural form can be some of the best allies for your heart. But the way these 7 are prepared, processed, or overeaten completely flips the script. Instead of protecting you, they're sabotaging you. This video isn't here to scare you. It's here to empower you. Because here's the good news. Once you know which nuts to avoid and what to do instead, you can turn your daily snacks into one of the strongest heart-protecting habits of your life. You don't have to give them up entirely. You just need to know the smarter, safer choices. So I'm begging you, as someone who has spent his life protecting hearts like yours, stay with me until the end of this video. I'll walk you through the 7 nuts you should avoid, the real reasons why, and the simple swaps that could literally save your heart for years to come. And before we dive in, let me ask for one small thing. If you care about keeping your heart strong, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. This way, you'll never miss another heart-healthy tip made just for you. And if you find this helpful along the way, leave me a 1 in the comments below. That way, I know you're here, you're listening, and you're taking action. Because your heart, it's been beating faithfully for over 2 billion times by now. Don't let a handful of the wrong nuts steal away the time you still have left. Honey roasted peanuts. Let me tell you a story. A while back, a patient of mine sat across from me, chest puffed out with pride. He said, "Doctor, I've changed my habits. No chips, no fast food, no cookies. My only snack? Just a few peanuts here and there." And I smiled at first, until I asked one simple question. "What kind of peanuts?" He grinned and said, "Oh, you know, honey roasted. They're delicious." And right there, I knew we had a problem. Because on top of that, the salt clings to your bloodstream, raising blood pressure and forcing your arteries to tighten under the pressure. And if that weren't enough, those hydrogenated oils, often used to keep them crunchy, sneak in like silent saboteurs, fueling inflammation in the lining of your arteries. Imagine your arteries as a smooth highway. With every handful of honey-roasted peanuts, you're scattering nails and debris across that road. The more often you snack, the more clogged and dangerous that highway becomes for your heart. And here's the contrast you need to see. A plain, dry-roasted peanut supports your heart. But that same peanut, dressed up in sugar and oil, slowly erodes the very system that's keeping you alive. Same nut, completely different outcome. What makes this so dangerous for seniors is how subtle it feels. After 60, your body doesn't process sugar and salt the way it once did. Your metabolism has slowed. Your blood vessels are more sensitive. Your heart doesn't bounce back from stress the way it used to. So what feels like a harmless handful is actually a daily drip of damage, a drip that builds up silently over years. Now, here's the empowering part. The fix is simple. You don't need to banish peanuts from your life. You just need to switch them out. Choose dry-roasted, unsalted peanuts. Nothing fancy, nothing coated, just the nut itself. And if you want flavor, toss them with a pinch of cinnamon or even a little turmeric at home. That way, you're in control, not the food industry. I like to tell my patients this. Every bite is a vote for the future you want. When you trade honey-roasted peanuts for the plain version, you're not giving something up. You're casting a vote for lower blood pressure, for cleaner arteries, for more time walking with your grandkids or laughing with your friends. So next time you see that golden sweet bowl of honey-roasted peanuts smiling at you from the coffee table, remember the truth hiding behind that crunch. And remember, your heart deserves better. If you're still with me and this is hitting home, let me know by dropping a 1 in the comments. It tells me you're listening, you're learning, and you're ready to take back control. Salted mixed nuts. Picture this, you're at a family gathering. On the coffee table sits a shiny tin or a resealable bag labelled Heart Healthy, filled with a colourful assortment of almonds, cashews, pistachios, and maybe a pecan or two. You pop a handful into your mouth, thinking, this is way better than chips or cookies. But here's the twist. That innocent handful might contain more sodium than your heart needs for the entire day. I can't tell you how many times I've had seniors sit in my office and say with confidence, "Doctor, I don't eat junk food. My snacks are only nuts." And yet when I look at their blood pressure, it's sky high. Their arteries inflamed. Their heart working harder than it should. So what's happening? The culprit is salt. Not the tiny pinch you sprinkle on your dinner plate, but the hidden addictive coating packed into salted mixed nuts. Each handful might seem small, but it's like adding buckets of pressure to your heart's workload. Let me explain it another way. Imagine your blood vessels are flexible garden hoses. When you're young, they expand and contract with ease. But as you age, those hoses stiffen. Add too much salt, and it's like cranking the water pressure higher and higher. Eventually, something's going to burst. For seniors, even small amounts of excess sodium can cause fluid retention, swelling, and a constant, silent strain on the heart muscle. Now here's the contrast. Nuts by themselves. Almonds, cashews, pistachios are full of healthy fats, fiber, and minerals. They're nature's gift to your cardiovascular system. But once they're tossed with salt, those benefits are overshadowed by the damage. It's like taking a pristine mountain spring and dumping a bag of chemicals into it. Same source, completely different effect. The sneaky part is how mindless this habit becomes. Salted, mixed nuts are designed to be addictive. The crunch, the sight, the variety. It keeps you reaching for more without noticing how much you've eaten. One handful during a TV show turns into 3. Before you know it, you've overloaded your system without even realizing it. But here's where empowerment comes in. You don't have to give up mixed nuts entirely. You just need to reclaim control. The solution? Buy raw or dry roasted unsalted nuts. Then add your own flavor at home. Sprinkle cinnamon for sweetness, turmeric for anti-inflammatory power, or rosemary for a savory kick. These flavors don't just taste good, they actually support heart health. And here's a psychological shift I want you to try. Instead of seeing unsalted nuts as boring, see them as pure. No gimmicks, no additives, no tricks. Just real food fueling your body the way nature intended. That's the kind of snack your heart recognizes as a friend, not an enemy. So the next time you're about to grab that shiny tin of salted mixed nuts, pause and ask yourself, am I choosing flavor engineered by the food industry or nourishment designed by nature? Your heart already knows the answer. And if this truth resonates with you, type a 1 in the comments right now. It tells me you're not just watching, you're taking action. Chocolate-covered nuts. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you reached for a chocolate-covered almond or peanut and thought, it's not that bad, at least it's not candy? I've seen that look of relief so many times. Seniors tell me, Doctor, I don't eat candy anymore. Just a few chocolate-covered nuts in the afternoon to satisfy my sweet tooth. And I'll get it. There's something comforting about that combination. The crunch of the nut. The creamy sweetness of the chocolate. It feels like the best of both worlds, indulgence and health wrapped up together. But here's the uncomfortable truth. That little handful is one of the most deceptive snacks you can eat for your heart. Why? Because what seems like a small treat delivers a triple hit your body simply can't afford after 60. First, the sugar. It spikes your blood sugar, stresses your pancreas, and leaves your blood thicker and stickier than it should be. A recipe for clotting and artery damage. Then, the processed fats hiding in that glossy coating. Fats that cling to your artery walls like gum in a drain pipe. And finally, the calorie density. Just a few pieces can pack hundreds of calories that your body, with its slower metabolism, stores as dangerous visceral fat around your midsection. Now, let me paint the contrast clearly. Chocolate by itself, if it's dark, rich, and over 70% cocoa, can actually offer antioxidants that support your heart. Nuts by themselves, raw, unsalted, natural, can be one of the best heart protective foods out there. But put them together in the way food companies sell them, it's no longer nourishment. It's a sugar bomb disguised as health food. And the most dangerous part, the emotional connection. Chocolate-covered nuts aren't just a snack. They're tied to memories. A gift from a friend, a treat during the holidays, a way to unwind at night. Your brain links them to comfort, safety, even love. But your arteries don't share those feelings. Kill your heart. Every handful is a quiet betrayal. I remember a patient who kept a small jar of chocolate-covered almonds on her kitchen counter. She told me, they helped me stay away from cookies. But her lab work told a different story. High triglycerides, creeping blood sugar, and weight gain around her middle. When she finally switched to a square of dark chocolate paired with raw almonds, her numbers started improving within months. Same craving satisfied. But in a way her heart could thank her for. So here's the empowering takeaway. You don't have to give up the joy of chocolate. You just need to choose it wisely. A single square of dark chocolate, the real stuff, rich and slightly bitter, with a few raw almonds is satisfying, elegant, and protective. It's the difference between feeding your cravings and fueling your future. So the next time that glossy bag of chocolate-covered nuts calls your name, pause and remember this. Comfort that harms you isn't comfort at all. True comfort is knowing your heart is safe, strong, and still beating faithfully for the people you love. If this little revelation hits home, drop a 1 in the comments below. Let's see how many of us are ready to swap guilt disguised as sweetness for the kind of joy that truly lasts. Packaged trail mix and flavored almonds. Let's start with trail mix. Doesn't that name sound healthy? Trail mix. You picture a hiker out in nature, backpack on, munching on something wholesome under the sun. The packaging reinforces it. Energy boost, natural fuel, on-the-go power. Sounds perfect, right? But here's the twist. Most store-bought trail mix has more in common with the candy aisle than with a mountain trail. Open the bag, and what do you find? Sugar-coated raisins, candy-coated chocolate bits, yogurt-drenched fruit pieces, and heavily salted nuts. It's less fuel for your hike and more sneaky dessert in disguise. I once had a patient who swore trail mix was his healthy snack of choice. He said, "Doctor, it's nuts and fruit. What could be better?" But his blood sugar told a different story. The dried fruit he was eating wasn't naturally dried. It was preserved in sugar syrups. Add in candy bits and salted nuts, and his healthy snack was pushing his triglycerides and blood pressure through the roof. Now, here's the contrast. When you build your own trail mix at home with raw almonds, walnuts, pumpkin seeds, and a few unsweetened dry berries, it becomes a true heart-friendly snack. But the packaged version, it's like painting organic on a candy bar and calling it medicine. And then we have the flavored almonds. Barbecue, ranch, wasabi, sriracha. They sound fun, right? Like you're turning a boring nut into a party. But here's what the label doesn't show you clearly. Those coatings are made of sodium, MSG, preservatives, and sugar. They take something naturally powerful, the almond, and bury it under a chemical costume your heart doesn't appreciate. Think about it. Almonds by themselves are fantastic for your arteries. They're loaded with healthy fats, fiber, and magnesium. But once you coat them in artificial flavors, it's like dunking a running shoe in cement. You've just weighed down its ability to do its job. For seniors whose bodies are more sensitive to salt and toxins, those flavorings don't just taste bold, they inflame, constrict, and silently stress your cardiovascular system. Now, let me be real. I get why these snacks are tempting. They're convenient, they're marketed as healthy, and they're designed to be addictive. But convenience isn't worth clogged arteries, and flavor doesn't have to come at the cost of your health. Here's the empowering shift. You don't need to give up trail mix or almonds. You just need to take back control. Make your own trail mix with raw nuts and a sprinkle of unsweetened fruit. Roast your almonds at home with turmeric, cinnamon, or rosemary. Those flavors don't just taste good, they actively support your heart health. So the next time you see Energy Boost printed on a bag of trail mix or bold flavor plastered on almonds, remember, marketing sells dreams, but your heart lives with the reality. Choose purity. Choose control. Choose to snack in a way that fuels not just your taste buds, but your future. And if this is opening your eyes, let me know in the comments with a quick 1. It tells me you're not just watching, you're ready to start making the switch. Cashews in excess and any nut cooked in vegetable oil. Let's talk about cashews for a moment. Creamy, rich, and oh so satisfying. They're like the ice cream of the nut world. And because they feel less sinful than chips or cookies, many seniors make them a daily habit. A handful after lunch, another while reading, maybe a few more before bed. It doesn't seem like much, right? But here's the catch. Cashews are naturally higher in saturated fat than most other nuts. And when you're younger, your body can often handle that extra load. But after 60, your metabolism slows, your arteries stiffen, and the margin for error gets very small. What looks like an innocent handful can quietly raise LDL cholesterol, expand your waistline, and increase the burden on your heart muscle. I had one patient who truly believed he was doing everything right. He avoided fried foods, skipped desserts, and exercised daily. But when we dug into his habits, I discovered he was polishing off nearly half a container of cashews every week. His cholesterol was creeping up, and his blood pressure was following. The cashews weren't bad by themselves, but in excess, they tipped the balance. Here's the contrast. Cashews aren't villains, but they need to be treated like dessert. A small serving occasionally, not an everyday staple. Rotate them with lighter, fiber-rich nuts like almonds or walnuts, and you protect your heart instead of overwhelming it. Now let's shift to an even sneakier danger: nuts roasted in vegetable oils. Picture yourself in the grocery store. You see a bag labeled roasted almonds or lightly salted cashews. Sounds innocent enough, right? But flip over the label and you'll usually see the words soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil. These oils are cheap, mass-produced, and loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. Here's why that matters. In small amounts, omega-6 isn't the problem. But when it floods your diet, as it does with oil-roasted nuts, it fuels inflammation inside your body. And for a senior's heart, already more vulnerable with age, that inflammation accelerates plaque buildup in your arteries, raises blood pressure, and even interferes with your heart rhythm. The worst part? You can't see or taste it. That invisible layer of oil is clinging to every nut, turning something that should protect you into something your heart has to fight against. I've seen seniors who cut sugar, avoided fried food, and still struggled with high inflammation markers. When we traced it back, the culprit was right there. Their daily, healthy roasted nuts soaked in vegetable oils. But here's the good news. The solution is simple. Choose dry roasted or raw nuts instead. Or roast them at home in a low oven with heart-supportive spices like cinnamon, turmeric or rosemary. That way you get the crunch and flavor without the invisible sabotage. So here's your takeaway. Enjoy cashews, but in moderation. Treat them like an occasional luxury. And when it comes to roasted nuts, if the label says vegetable oil, put it back. Your heart deserves better fuel than that. And if this message resonates with you, if you've just realized how easy it is to be tricked, drop a 1 in the comments below. It shows me you're ready to take your snacking power back into your own hands. What to do instead, plus inspiring ending. By now you might be thinking, well, if honey-roasted peanuts, salted mixes, chocolate-coated nuts, trail mix, flavored almonds, cashews and oil-roasted nuts are all risky, then what's left? Do I have to give up nuts entirely? The answer is a comforting no. Here's the truth. It's not the nut that's the problem. It's how they're processed, flavored, or overconsumed. In their purest form, nuts are still one of the most powerful allies your heart can have. The key is being intentional, choosing wisely, eating mindfully, and treating food as the medicine it was designed to be. So let's reset the picture. Instead of grabbing whatever the store markets as heart healthy, go back to basics. Choose raw, unsalted almonds, walnuts, pistachios, or pecans. These are rich in fiber, healthy fats, magnesium, and antioxidants. Nutrients that actually calm inflammation, lower blood pressure, and strengthen your arteries. If you want a little crunch, look for dry roasted nuts, not oil roasted. Or better yet, roast them yourself in the oven with a sprinkle of cinnamon, turmeric, or rosemary. These spices don't just add flavor, they add heart-healing power. And remember, portion control. A handful of nuts is perfect. More than that, especially on a daily basis, starts tipping from nourishment into overload. A small bowl paired with a piece of fresh fruit balances your blood sugar and satisfies your craving without overwhelming your system. Now let's zoom out for a moment, because this isn't just about nuts. It's about identity. By the time you're in your 60s or beyond, your heart has beaten more than 2 billion times. Think about that. 2 billion beats, carrying you through every laugh, every heartbreak, every walk with a loved one, every sleepless night and joyful morning. And through it all, your heart has asked for so little. Your care, your awareness, your willingness to listen. Every choice you make now is no longer just about food. It's about legacy. Do you want to spend your later years sitting in waiting rooms and managing medications? Or walking with your grandchildren, traveling, laughing, and feeling strong in your own body? That choice begins with the snack in your hand. And here's the most empowering part. It's never too late. Your arteries can soften. Your blood pressure can lower. Your energy can return. You can shift from foods that wear you down to foods that lift you up. You're not giving up flavor or comfort. You're trading what is harmful for what is healing. So the next time you stand in front of the pantry or the grocery aisle, pause. Ask yourself, am I feeding the future I want or the future I fear? That single moment of awareness can change everything. Your heart is still listening. It's still beating for you, still fighting for you. Give it the fuel it deserves. And now I'd love to hear from you. What's one change you're ready to make after hearing this? Share it in the comments below. If this video inspired you, leave a 1. If you think I can improve, leave a 0. Either way, your voice matters and your journey matters. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe so we can keep building this heart-healthy community together. Because at the end of the day, your next choice, your next meal, your next moment, it all counts. And your heart, your legacy is worth protecting. Thanks for watching this video.